We've got an oil spill in South Florida. Man, oh man, the Florida Panthers with a 6-1 win over the Edmonton Oilers in Game 3 to take a 2-1 series lead. Dennis Bernstein, David Pagnotta. This is our coverage of the 2025 Stanley Cup Final here on TFP, presented to you by Carlsberg. Probably the best beer in the world. All right, DB, like I said, there's a lot to dissect here. It looked like from the get-go, after 56 seconds into this game, Brad Marchand gives the Panthers the 1-0 lead, and they just never looked back.
Yeah, they never looked back. But this game was 2-1 with 3 minutes into the second period, Dave, so it wasn't like it was lost in the first period. But I've seen this game before from the Edmonton Oilers, Dave. Game 2 against the Los Angeles Kings. So it's not about losing tonight, and the way they lost was terrible. But it's how the response will be in Game 4. Chris Knoblauch has to get this team going, have to have way better effort against this team, and be more controlled and have their heads about them in Game 4 if they want to make this a long series.
You know, it looked like it was over after 20 minutes, and then they get the power play.
Yep.
They earn a response. Corey Perry nets one to make it 2-1. And then just everything just kind of fell apart all over again.
Yep.
All over again. The defensive pairings that were jumbled didn't help. The offense wasn't there. There was only so much both Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were able to do in this one before getting fully contained. And then as the game progressed, the Oilers decided to play a bully?
Yeah.
I guess. I'm not sure what the mindset there was, but that's the direction they went in, and the Florida Panthers just smiled back and said, all right, do it.
That's not the approach you take against the Florida Panthers, Dave. I'm sorry. Maybe against Dallas, maybe against Vegas, but not this team. You're just playing right into their hands by doing that. It doesn't accomplish anything, and you can see the results on the scoreboard, 6-1.
Stuart Skinner gets pulled after the fifth goal.
A mercy pull, yeah.
Yeah, certainly. You go back to him on Thursday?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the guys in front of him have to be way better. It wasn't Stuart Skinner's fault. Look, he fell on his face on the first one. The fourth one wasn't great, but again, you can't blame Stuart Skinner for this performance because it was a team loss. Everybody stunk.
Really, yeah. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
This was probably the worst game of the playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe going back to Game 2. I mean, I think, quite frankly, DB, this is probably the worst game of the entire playoffs. You forget about those LA
Given
games.
the magnitude of the game, Dave, it's not the first round. This is the Stanley Cup Final. You can't play this way again on Thursday night. Just can't do it.
So let's talk about the attempted bulliness here by the Edmonton Oilers. You mentioned it. Wrong team to do it against because the Florida Panthers have that easy response. Yeah. You saw it from their guys. There was no quit in their desire to combat that and go back at them. You can't do that in Game 4.
No. I think it's more frustration than trying to bully, though. The game got away with them. It got away from them. And they resorted to that. But, again, you can't resort to that in Game 4. You have to play a different game. You have to play the game like you played in Game 1 if you're going to make this a 2-2 series on Thursday.
A couple days off. Everybody gets to regroup. At least the Oilers do. The Florida Panthers will take this confidence and try to build on this one. Likely an off day for both clubs tomorrow.
Sure. Yep.
Well-deserved for Florida. Probably needed for the Edmonton Oilers. We will catch up with you later on in the week as the days progress. A lot more to talk about here at the Stanley Cup Final and across the National Hockey League. A lot of activity starting to pick up as we inch closer to the draft in Los Angeles. But for now, we will check back with you a little bit later. Dennis, Dave, it's now 2-1 for the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final, and our coverage is brought to you, as always, by Carlsberg.